Hi guys, welcome back to the channel here at Totally Magic. Glad you can join us. And we've got a great little card effect for you today using just a regular deck of cards. Now they often say that gamblers talk in odds, 50 to 1, 25 to 5, whereas mathematicians talk in percentages, 25%, 50%, whereas magicians, we just talk rubbish. But we do a great card trick, and we're going to demonstrate that right now. I've got a deck of cards for you. I want you to shuffle these. Now the spectator will take the cards from you and shuffle the whole pack. Happy with that? Before you give the pack back to me, remove one card for yourself. Now they have an absolute free choice. They remove a single card. Now you had a choice of any of these cards from the pack. Yeah? But what I want you to do is to take a picture of your chosen card so you don't forget it. So with your phone, just take a snapshot of that. Don't let me see the card. The spectator will take a picture of that card. Once you've done that, I'm going to take that from you and I'm going to lose it in the middle of the pack. Now I know I've left it sticking out there, so I'm just going to square the pack, and I want to show you all four sides of the pack to prove there's no breaks or anything left protruding from the pack. Now we'll give the cards a shuffle to further lose your card in there, but you've got a picture of that. Now out of all of these cards that we've got, one of these cards is now being thought of. Let's just check it's not the top card. Would have been a great trick if you had said yes. And it's not the bottom card. So we now know that your card is somewhere in the pack, lost. Now if we were to take the pack and cut this about halfway, a gambler would say the odds are 50-50. A mathematician would say 50%. We'll get rid of 50% of the cards. What if I cut the pack in half again to leave us with a quarter of the pack? Now a mathematician would call that 25%. Each time we're eliminating cards. If I now deal out some hands of cards here, one to you and one to me, and we'll deal these out. Remember, these were shuffled and mixed up. Now I'm going to keep hold of some of these. In fact, 6 of the cards I'm going to hold. Now a gambler would say that we've got a 25 to 6 odds. We'll get rid of the odds. 2 hands of cards. Now this is important. I want you to pick up either the cards close to you or close to me. These ones here, you've grabbed those. Just drop them on the rest of the pack. And as I said, this is important because we're going to repeat that every time we deal the cards out. You chose your cards to be eliminated. Let's see what we've got left here. Let's deal out these cards. And once again, can you get rid of those? Deal out the final. Okay, we've got an odd amount, but sticking to the rules, please discard those. We're left with one card and one card only. Now, a gambler would say that you had a 1 in 52 chance of that being your chosen card. A mathematician would say there is a 1% chance of that being your card. If you display your phone and the picture that you took, what was the card? The 7 of clubs. You see, as a magician, we don't call it odds or percentages. We call it magic. Now this is a great little card trick. It's impromptu and it's self-working. So if you watch the routine back, then just follow it along, it will work. There's just one little thing you have to do, and that's it. First of all, the cards are regular. They can be shuffled, mixed. The spectator takes a card, say in this case the 9 of hearts. The only thing you're going to do at the start is when you return that card back to the pack, it has to go in position number 6. So what I do is that while they're taking a picture or remembering their card, by the way, you don't need to get them to take a picture of the card. I often keep that in a routine, and I find myself doing that more and more now, because you'll be amazed the amount of younger generation who don't play with cards all the time find it very difficult to remember the name of the card. And I'm sure this has happened to all of us. You perform a great trick, and at the final hurdle, when you ask them to name their card, they look around and say, I can't remember. It was a black, red with knobbly bits, and it ruins the whole effect. So either get them to show people around them the card, so if they forget, then people around them will know, or in this case, I get them to take a picture. And I find that's kind of more interactive. People have always got their phone in their hand, so it's easy, quick and simple just to take a snap of it. They take a picture. All you're going to do is push off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and get a break under that. So you get a break under those 5 cards. When you take the card back from them, a classic magician's move, I'm sure you've come across this before, if you push the card from the back into that break that you're holding, from the front, it looks as though it's going deeper than what it is. And as you push it in, you're done. You can square the cards up. They just assume it's in the middle somewhere. Now, because we know their card is the 6th card from the top, we can then turn them face up, and you can shuffle almost the whole pack. But what I tend to do is when I shuffle, when I get near to the top of the cards, I'm doing a sloppy shuffle. I then shuffle one of the cards so it's staggered, so it's pushed back, and then I drop this packet on top. Then I lift up from this one to do a cut, and then do some more cuts like that. I don't know why I'm telling you this. You probably got your own method for doing full shuffles and cuts to keep those 6 cards on top. Now, what I've just done there's now 7 cards because I've just lifted up this card as well. And the way that I get rid of that is that I pick the cards up and say, let's just check that your card's not on top. And I put that into the middle. Their card is now the 6th card down from the top. I turn the pack over and say, is that your card? And I put that into the middle. Everything looks consistent. I turn it over. We're basically all done. When you cut the cards, you want to get it as close as possible. Doesn't have to be accurate. You don't need 26 and 26. But what I try and do is I deliberately try and make the top half that contains their card maybe the slightly bigger packet. Don't make it too obvious. So you split the pack and you get rid of the lower half. You then take what you've got left and you cut that in half. Now, again, it doesn't have to be accurate, but I tend to try and have the bigger portion on the top half by a few cards. Get rid of that. You're now left with a quarter of the pack. What you're going to do is you're going to deal out 2 hands of cards. Now, deal to them first, then yourself. While you're doing this, you're counting the cards that you deal, because you want them to have 7 and you to have 6. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I stop at this point, and whatever I've got left. Now this is why I made sure I had slightly more than half of that last packet, because I will end up with 2, 1, 3, or in the routine I had 6 or 7. It doesn't matter, whatever you've got. I've got 2 cards here, so I'll tell you what, let's get rid of a couple more from here. Remember, no one's paying attention here. They don't know how many cards you dealt here. They just see 2 hands of cards. Now this next part is, I guess, a kind of magician's choice, because you've got to get rid of the packet that's got the 7 cards in. Okay, not the one that's got the 6. So you get rid of the 7, which is their one. But what I like to do is, you could just pick them up and get rid of them, but I like to say, grab a packet of cards. Now, if they grab this one, you get rid of that, and you're going to repeat that for the next 3 moves. So, but what if they pick this one? If they grab this, I say to them, we're going to always keep my cards, we'll get rid of yours, and I get rid of those. Now, because they're holding them, I then ask them, deal out the 2 hands, one to yourself, always to themselves first, okay? Always to them first. And they deal out the cards. So whereas before I was dealing them, they're now dealing, because that's just the way it's gone. Once again, I get rid of these cards here. I say to them, pick up my cards, and we'll get rid of yours, because that's what you wanted. And then finally they deal out the cards, and once again we keep this but get rid of that. Watch the performance back, you'll get it. It's quite simple in that move. This is always going to be their card. It's totally automatic. Okay, it's one of those card tricks where you don't know how it does it, it just does it. So that is as simple as it gets. Hopefully you've got that okay. Have a few practice runs. Just remember, when you cut the pack, as long as their card is the card number 6, okay, in the pack. In fact, let's just do this face up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So say that's their card that went back in there. So you cut the cards about half, slightly less in this one if you can, get rid of those. Cut the pack again, slightly less in the half you're going to get rid of. You're left with a quarter of the pack. You then deal out to them first of all, always them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but not 7 to you. You've only got 6 cards. They've got 7. You talk about these, whatever you want to do. You can use your own patter. Get rid of them. 2 hands of cards. Please grab one. As I said, if they grab this, the bottom line is you're always going to eliminate this packet here in front of them. So work on that assumption. So if they grab these, tell them just get rid of those, and we're going to repeat this every time. Once again, you pick them up this time, you deal 1 to them, always to them first, backwards and forwards, and likewise we always get rid of your cards because you chose that, not me. And finally to them, me, them, and once again eliminate that. You're always left with their card. Great self-worker. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Till next time, take care.